This is the Flowmaster FlowFX dual exhaust system with the black tips and the middle side exit, and it is available for all 2021 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150s, excluding the Tremor and Raptor trucks. Now you should be checking out this system for your F-150 if you'd like a noticeable increase in volume over the factory system, along with a somewhat affordable full stainless steel build. Now the Flowmaster will utilize a combination of both 3-inch and 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, along with the 409 grade stainless material and very cool looking dual black tips here, all for right around that low $700 price point. So jumping right into the sound here, EcoBoost owners can expect with the FlowFX in place, and as you guys heard with the sound clips, to me this system is going to be noticeable but not over the top or obnoxious. Now at the same time, the system does maintain a surprisingly deep tone overall, and that's going to be great for EcoBoost truck owners out there who want to not get something that's going to be overly raspy. And let's face it guys, keeping the EcoBoost tone down is not always easy to achieve. So breaking out my wake the neighbor scale, I've got the FlowFX coming in at a soft 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to wake the neighbor scale. Now Flowmaster themselves describe the FlowFX as being moderate to aggressive in volume levels, and honestly guys, this is definitely more moderate than aggressive. There's going to be far louder systems out there to choose from if that's a route you want to go. On the other hand, if you want to keep things pretty tame, pretty modest overall, I think that's a really good way to sum this up, then the Flowmaster FlowFX is certainly worth a look. Now, you are going to hear this inside the cab. You got a couple things working for you in that department. First and foremost, that deep tone you are getting out of the exterior of the system, well, typically that finds its way in the interior as well. What makes that even more magnified in this case is the fact that this is that dual side exit exhaust, but that cab exit. So it's before your passenger side rear tire, basically dumping right on that right-hand drive side, right by that rear door. Because of those two factors, you are gonna hear this thing more. There's really no getting around that. But if you did really dig the sound profile, the price point, and all that good stuff of the FlowFX, well, they do make some rear exit systems that you can find here at AmericanTrucks as well, which will certainly alleviate some of those more boomy parts of this system with this particular design. Now moving into our construction block, and the Flowmaster again is packing a 100% stainless steel build here throughout the FlowFX. Again, the majority of that material is going to be the 409 grade stainless, and that will make up things like the mandrel bent tubing here, which again you are getting the combination of 3-inch, which does step down to 2.5-inch after the muffler. The muffler itself, 409 grade stainless as well, and the FlowFX muffler is pretty unique in the Flowmaster lineup. This is the only perforated tube packed muffler that they offer here in their lineup, at least at this time. So again, that is going to lend itself to that deeper tone overall, and it is a straight through by design muffler, so you're increasing your flow and your performance slightly a little bit here as well. Everything is going to exit out of the large 4-inch black tips here, double wall slash cut etched with the Flowmaster logo. It is a ceramic coating, so it's a high heat coating, and again that is going to dump in that cab exit configuration in front of your passenger side rear tire, which I think is a cool look. It's kind of reminiscent of the old Lightnings back in the day, the first gen. In addition to that, it's also going to clean up the rear of the truck, which is another thing I really dig about these mid-cab designs. Last but not least guys, Flowmaster does kick in all of the hardware. Obviously your hangers are pre-welded for you, and because you are getting a full stainless build, they are going to back this system with their lifetime warranty. Price point's definitely appealing here as well for a full stainless steel exhaust. In fact, the FlowFX and its low $700 price point is one of the more affordable full stainless systems currently here on the site for your F-150 at home that delivers this unique cab exit design. All right, moving into our installation, and the site's gonna call this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking about 2 hours at most to complete from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include a drill, an impact gun, a ratchet, exhaust hanger remover tool, a center punch, tape measure, 5 30-seconds and 1/4-inch drill bits, an extension, 10 and 15 millimeter sockets, and a 13 millimeter swivel socket.
What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our F-150. First we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory exhaust, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
So we've got the truck up in the air, and the first thing we're gonna need to do is remove our factory setup. We're gonna start with our 15 millimeter clamp here at our flex pipe. So we're gonna grab our 15 mil socket on our impact and loosen this up. So we'll come up here and loosen this clamp. Next, we can unbolt the brackets for our 2 hanger isolators here on our frame rail. For that, we're gonna use our 10 millimeter socket and extension on our ratchet. You wanna hold on to this hardware when you remove it. Next, we're gonna remove our hanger isolator for our muffler section. And the easiest way to do that is to use your 10 millimeter socket and extension on your impact and unbolt it. Now we do have a pole jack underneath our muffler to help support it. And once you have it unbolted, it does have a tab on the other side. Have to lower this pole jack down a bit, get that out of its seat. Make sure that's free and clear. Now we can unbolt our rear hanger bracket section, again with our 10 mil socket and extension on our impact. There is also a bolt on the inside of the frame rail. You want to support your exhaust when you do this. Now we can come up to our 2-bolt flange and remove the 2 13 millimeter bolts holding that in place. Now we do have an extra set of hands at the rear of the exhaust, because once we unbolt this, we'll bring this back and take it out of the truck. So we've got our 13 millimeter socket and extension on our impact. Get these out. We're gonna hold on to these bolts. Once we clear the cross member, we can bring the front of our exhaust down. Get the tail over the axle.
Now before we start installing any of our exhaust, you might have to cut one of your pipes, or you might not cut at all. Depending on your cab and bed configuration, you might be cutting this extension pipe, you might cut the front pipe, or you might just not use the extension pipe, or you might use all of it. So for our case, we're gonna have to trim 6 inches off of our extension pipe, because we have the Super Crew with the 6.5 foot bed. So I'm gonna take a tape measure and a marker, make my line, and then we'll take it over to the saw and make our cut. So now we're over at the saw. I've got my pipe clamped down so that my blade is right up on that mark that I made. So now we're just gonna go ahead and make our cut. Now we're gonna come over to the grinder and clean up all of our edges. So now we're ready to install our front pipe. Now our flange here, we have to slide over the pipe. There's a flat side and a side with a beveled edge. That beveled edge is gonna go towards the flange. So I'm gonna slide that on my pipe. And then I can raise my pipe up, and I'm just gonna thread in my 2 factory bolts just by hand for now. So now I'm gonna take my 13mm swivel socket and I'm just gonna run these bolts in. I still wanna be able to move around my pipe, but I just wanted to hold it up. Now right behind our front pipe, we've got our 2 U-clips from one of the hangers that we removed in the uninstall. So we're going to take the 2 factory bolts from those and we're going to be installing our hanger that's included in the kit. So just thread those into those U-clips. Then grab a 10mm socket and tighten them down. Next, we can install the extension pipe if you use it. So I'm going to slide one of my clamps over it, slide it on, and then I'm going to grab my muffler. I can get that into the hanger here, get my clamp on there to hold this up straight, and then we can go back and tighten everything before that. So now to make this a little bit easier, I'm just going to slide this isolator off. I'm going to put my hanger clamp in it, slide that on, and then connect. And then I'm just gonna straighten this out and I'm gonna start at my flange up front, tighten that down, and then we'll work our way back. So now I'm gonna take a 13mm swivel socket and go back and forth and evenly tighten down my flange. Now we can start working our way back. So I'm gonna grab this clamp with a 15mm socket. Now we can get our muffler onto that extension pipe. And we'll slide our hanger clamp over that flange there. Now once we have that in place, just straighten out your muffler and take a 15mm socket, tighten down your clamp. So now before we get our tailpipes bolted up, we are going to have to drill a hole into the frame to mount a hanger. So I've got that hanger on my tailpipes. I'm going to raise that up and connect it. And then we're going to come up here. We're going to adjust our exhaust to sit where we want it to. And then I'm going to take a center punch in one of those holes, make my mark. We'll pull this whole thing back off, drill our hole, and install our bolt. So now I've got my center punch. I'm gonna raise my exhaust up. I'm watching the side of the bed where the tips are. I'm just gonna raise it up until it's right where I want it. And I'm gonna find the center point of this hole. And then with that in place, I'm gonna pull this whole thing back out. And then we'll drill our hole. So now we're ready to drill our hole. I'm going to be starting with a 5/32 drill bit and working my way up from there. And now I'm going to step that up to a 1/4 inch bit. So now with the hole drilled in our frame, we can get our clamps on here so that we can fully install our tailpipe section. Now I'm keeping my clamp to the right here to stay away from the drive shaft. Slide those on, connect your pipe, and I'm gonna go up and install that bolt first. So now I'm gonna get my bolt in that hole and take a 13mm socket to tighten it down. And now we'll just go back, tighten down our 2 clamps, and wrap this up.
So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Flowmaster FlowFX dual exhaust system with black tips, middle side exit for your 2021 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150, excluding Raptor and Tremor. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.